Hey guys, it's that time of year where you need to start thinking about your financial goals for next year. I know, but I hope we're gonna make it fun today. I'm gonna demystify all of it. We're gonna talk a little bit about the dollars and why they freak you out or why they make you so happy. And you're gonna walk away with a plan. So let's get to it. All right, it is the time of year where you need to sit down and look at what you wanna make next year. So the hardest part about this for most people is that we're really weird about money. Yep, we're just really weird about money. We have all these stories from childhood. You guys have experienced this, I'm sure. You go to send out an invoice and you're like, I can't possibly, who am I? Like all these weird things come up. And so I just kind of want to make this really tactical for you. This is such a gorgeous time of year for us to look back on the year that we've had, especially as business owners, and sort of decide what we want to work on for next year. What do we want to change? What do we want to make better? What more do we want to bring in? So how do we do that? The first thing we need to do is figure out where you want to be. I know that sounds crazy and you're like, but I want to be a bazillionaire. I know, I got it. But we need actual numbers and we need actual whys. If you've been following me for a while, you've probably heard me say that before. I want to make my first six-figure year. Why? Why? What is it about $100,000 that makes your socks roll up and down? What is that? Who decided that for you? Why is that the number? And these questions I think are so important and I don't think we ask them enough. And in order for you to really set goals or look at a financial future, it has to matter for you. It can't matter for anybody else. I don't care what anybody else is doing. You know, you got to be attached to what you write down. So if you were to think right now about how much you want to make next year, I would advise that you do not start with the total number for next year. Instead, ask yourself what you want to make on a monthly basis. Now, if you haven't grabbed my freedom calculator yet, the link to that is right underneath this video. And I really recommend you grab it because you can do this all throughout the year, maybe quarter by quarter, month by month, as you see fit, as it really feels good to you. But what I love about the freedom calculator is it teaches what I'm doing here with you, which is I want you to look at the month. How much do you want to make every month? Why? And the reason I called it the freedom calculator is that it actually helps you find the number that will have you feel free. The number where you go, oh, your shoulders finally drop, you're like, oh, that feels good. Oh my gosh, I can breathe, right? You deserve to have that in your business. And I'll tell you, chasing six figures or even seven figures isn't going to do it for you because you don't know how much you need to make to actually feel free. So you're chasing these arbitrary numbers that don't serve you. And it's so important that before you decide to do this and sit down and make yourself feel bad all year, that you actually figure out how much you need to make every single month. And then from there, you can figure out what your annual goal could be. And then I'm going to ask you to bump it up a little bit because why would we not? Now, the way that we look at money is very strange. For most of us, it's like, I want this, I want that, I want this. And we get that, right? I mean, do we not live in the most consumable world ever? And it started to shift a little bit where it's not like, I want that specific bag. I want those specific shoes. I want this kind of house. That's sort of still in there, but it's shifted a little bit to be more about, I want this experience. I want to know that in my life, I've done this thing. And that is also part of the freedom that you can feel when you start earning the money that you want to earn. But whatever your why is, right? Whatever this consuming for you is, and please don't be upset by that word. That's a good thing. You should be consuming things that make you happy. You should be consuming foods that make you healthy. You should be consuming information that furthers your life. There's nothing bad about that. So we want to make sure that's really clear. And just looking out at nature, nature consumes and produces, right? That's what it does. And you're part of that cycle. It's okay. But when you look at what you want to be able to consume, whether it's experience, life, joy, happiness, health, excitement, you need to be profoundly related to that truth. Because when you go to make money and you go to set goals, this is why this is so hard, because we know deep down it's tough. It's not always just like, I want to make money. It's not how it works. And we know that, right? And chances are, if you're watching this video, you've probably done something similar to this before, right? You're like, I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to make this money this year. I'm going to do this thing this year. I'm going to hit this goal this year. And then you don't. And what that does is that starts to kind of eat away at you and you become resigned, which is one of the ugliest words, I think, in the human language. And I say human because it's in a lot of different languages, but that feeling of resignation, that human experience of resignation is terrible. It's awful. And chances are you didn't hit that past goal for two reasons. One, you arbitrarily set it without understanding your own personal conditions. Again, please grab the freedom calculator because that will help you never make that mistake again. And then two, you weren't profoundly connected to why you wanted to make the money. And this has also become a little bit watered down lately, which makes me really sad. But there's been a little bit of like a, just find your why. You know, this happens a lot in multi-level marketing companies. God love them, bless them, wonderful. But find your why. It's not quite that simple. It's really about understanding what makes your socks roll up and down, like at a deep level. And I'll tell you, you guys, I've been sharing a lot because I did a lot of year-end planning sessions this year. We opened up some extras and boy, did you guys snatched those suckers right on up. But as I was working on those, I was sharing my own goals and my own dreams. And this is a little bit about money, but I want you to hear me. One of my goals was to have really beautiful clothes. Like I just wanted really beautiful clothes. I'm like, what the heck is going on with me? I don't really care that much, but what is happening here? So I started to journal on why I had set this goal for having really beautiful clothes, because it kind of surprised me, to be honest. So I sat down, I looked at, I kept writing and I kept writing and I kept writing. And those of you that have been with me for a while, trigger warning, okay? I just want to be really responsible here. And I've done a lot of work to heal, but I was sexually abused for most of my childhood. And this is something I share regularly. So if it's the first time you've heard that, just know it's a truth that I share. What I ended up writing down, you guys, it just blew my mind. Like here I am thinking I'm talking about clothes, right? Which costs money, which means I want to increase my income, all those things. You guys, you know what I ended up writing down? Was that my body had been treated like an object for years by other people. And I wanted to show my body that it deserved the most beautiful things I could possibly find. Can you stand it? And this is the first time I've been able to tell that without crying, by the way, because I've been sharing that in year-end planning sessions with people. Like, don't think your goals are frivolous. Don't assume that your goals are about stuff, right? On the surface, it can look that way. There's a reason you're choosing what you're choosing. And when it comes to financial goals, you need to understand why, right? So I added on to my financial goals, I added on a new budget for beautiful clothing. And that's not something I'm just going to go out and do. I'm actually going to look at who made it. I'm going to have so much fun. Just a side note, this sweater, by the way, is from the 40s. It was refurbished, got it on Etsy. Love it, right? That's what I'm talking about. It's carefully chosen. I love it so much. It's one of my favorite, holiday sweaters. But this is what I'm talking about. So for you, when you sit down and write down a financial goal, for you to arbitrarily choose 6 figures, do you see how different that is from your life's journey? From the healing you might need to do? For the causes that might call to you, especially this time of year, you start to see things a little bit differently. So when you're setting the financial goals, let that shine through. Become profoundly related to why that matters to you. Do you see what I'm saying? So what I really want to advise you to do, grab the freedom calculator below this video. Okay? Then after you know what your monthly goal needs to be, set your financial goal for the next year, but then make sure you write down why. Okay? I want you to sit down with a piece of paper and I want you to journal, not type. I want you to journal from your own hand. I want you to see the ink come out of the pen that you are holding, right? So you're taking something invisible, your why, and you're making it visible. Okay? It's really important. That's a process. That's not a fake woo-woo thing. That's a process. Watching your dreams come to life on a piece of paper, right? Why does this matter to you? All right, listen, you guys, I want you to do this exercise. I want you making more money. You need to understand what you need in order to feel free. You need to be profoundly related to why it's important to you. And the great thing about the Freedom Calculator, you guys, is behind the exercise, the calculator, I'm going to show you marketing tips, marketing ideas to help you actually go out there and generate that revenue because you deserve it. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next episode.